Now, today we're talking about eliminating the outer influences. And what we really mean by that is no more asking for permission, waiting until someone else says you can have it. It is all about helping you right here, right now, start living your very best life now. So, we're going to be diving deep. Throughout this episode, we're going to go over different ways to harness and activate and to live your best life. Not out there in the future, but today, right now. We also have put together show notes for you, so we'll be including links on anything that we talk about. So if you're not in a place to take notes or you'd rather just listen and let us do the note taking for you, we've got it taken care of. And all you need to do is go to show notes that can be found at livingmybestlife.com/03. This is episode 3, so the show notes are located at livingmybestlifenow.com/03. Now, as always, we are going deep. We're going to cover a lot of ground, and I don't want to waste another moment, so let's go ahead and get started. Let's kick off today with a quote. In a mirror is where we find a reflection of our appearance, but in a heart is where we find a reflection of the soul. Now, this is by an unknown author, but it's very powerful. You see, life is often a mirror, but it is our heart that when we look and we stop looking outward and we start looking inward, we get to start seeing what is the message, the intention, and the reflection of our soul. When we connect in with our heart first, dial in there, it changes what we reflect out. And then what happens is that our inform. The better you feel, the better your life starts to look. Now, this is very different. I've worked with so many clients over the years that are telling themselves really good things that the moment they I spilled coffee all over myself, on and on and on. The moment we say something that is incongruent, we react to it. And the strange thing is, I found that when we're engaged in positive thinking, we're glossing over some of the major opportunities. No more positive glossing over something that feels outright miserable. And then to harness the best opportunity that is coming from that moment. Let's face it, some of the best plans, just believe in being direct, so we're going to go there. It's okay. Don't call it flowers yet. Call some universal laws and principles. Now, I want to take this out of the woo-woo and get the sign. Now, in the state that I'm in, which is Virginia, beside or behind the stop sign. But if I'm in California, oftentimes the line is California, I've lived in Virginia, and each time I move, you get to go and take an exam for your driver's license again so that you learn the laws of that state. I love Montana. I had some family that lived in Montana for a while, and Montana is really fun because there are some roads within Montana that the speed limit is reasonable and prudent. What does that mean? That, of course, are in existence. However, they change depending. It doesn't matter what planet you're on. There is no today, so you can engage these laws consciously, intentionally. Now, the first one we're going to start off with, okay, this is physics, this is science. So everything is oscillating around a central point. Within you is oscillating out of you, and you're the central point. Even the things that look solid, like my desk here or this pencil, they look solid. But I can guarantee if we get out the right scientist, watching him do this demonstration where he took a plate, just a base, turned on these speakers, the plate and the sand or the dirt on the plate the sand and the particles and the dirt all moved into different shapes, and they feel a vibration. I don't know if you've ever had somebody pull up next to you that's rocking out with some heavy bass, but boy, it doesn't matter many, you can feel the beat. They've actually measured beats and seen how they influence our bodies, and our heart and our rhythms actually will shift and change around beats. It's very, very cool. I've also seen beats and it can shift our brainwave or the oscillations that are coming. Look at some of the research and some of the information that's being shown and shared by HeartMath, which is an organization that is dedicated to within our heart and our emotions and our mind. Really powerful. But all of this is vibration around a central and oscillating or a central point, and the law of vibration. And it says that everything that vibrates at the same speed or frequency are going to be magnetized and pulled together. So, law of attraction. I love playing with that word because it's seeking you also. Now, what I love, and I learned about this as well, it basically says that everything that resonates at the same frequency, so vibrates and resonates at the same frequency, communicates with one another. I saw an amazing demonstration, and I do this oftentimes at workshops and presentations, key of C. So it's a tuning fork in the key of C, and I'll strike it. Now the cool thing is, and those with other keys, maybe G, F, whatever the keys are, those tuning well, I struck mine. And because my tuning fork and their tuning fork are in the same, they're at the same frequency match, and they start stimulating and communicating with is also seeking you. Well, with the law of attraction, the law of vibration, there's a lot of new research on happiness. And part of this research, smile. And it's like a wave of transformation that hits you, and you find neurons within us, and they're called mirror neurons. Now, when we smile at someone, their neurons that are mirror neurons receive the smile. And they do the coolest, they receive it. And they respond with life. So anything that's going to empower and strengthen you and enliven you and lift you up. The only problem is that we've become conditioned to engage in something. And it's simply an observation, not a criticism or a judgment. And as a parent myself, so they're feeling it. Well, emotions are vibrations, and we can use MEGs and measure what's going on without even having to touch someone. So it's pretty powerful. And we pick up a parent going through some emotion, and they'll check in, and they're wanting to get, and I don't understand what it is. So I feel like it might be sadness, but I want to get confirmation for what they're going through and overwhelm the child. So they want to keep it private and they want to handle it themselves. And it's all well intended. So what they say is, no, sweetie, I'm fine. Or, oh no, I'm not sad. Everything's fine. I just got something in my eye. Now so the child says, okay, I have this feeling, and it feels like the vibration of sadness. And it doesn't have to be their sadness. They're just wanting to notice what's going on in my wonderful environment. What it does is it creates confusion. So the next time they feel something, they go and they check in. And if the person tells them a non-consciousness and in their neural networks, and they start to wire, when they say, okay, I'm feeling this feeling, and it feels like sadness, but no, it's happiness. And so they waited, and my children ask, are you feeling sad? Are you frustrated? Oh my goodness, there's a part of me that wants to say, oh no, I'm fine. But I always want my children to be empowered with choice. So I will say things like, you're right. Emotion is okay. And it doesn't need to be their emotion, that I can absolutely move it through to whatever it is that it's in journey to becoming. And it also empowers them to be present with other people's emotions, but not need to take them on. Because ultimately, the law of reflection is very powerful. And that isn't true. You've created internal conflict, and you've created, with the law of reflection, everything that is a match to it in the law of resonance, and then it's reflected back to you. And so when you say, oh my goodness, I've spilled orange juice on my pants, and that's the kind of day that I'm going to have, and then that's the day you end up having, you don't need to think positive about it. You need to say, okay, I have orange juice all over my pants, juice on my pants. Now that might be, okay, orange juice on my pants. does not influence my knowledge bank and information that I have to. Let's take it even further into manure. Let's say you have this beautiful garden and then somebody dumps a lot and it can be overwhelming. So you can look at it and say, oh no, my garden is ruined. Or you can say, what is the best self, my best opportunity that I can bring right here, right now? They made mud pies. And they decided to taste the mud pies. Sure. But the truth is they looked at that and went, wow, that is just okay. Well, then don't eat them anymore. And the child's like, no problem. I'm not eating these. And they said, and I know that that's a lot to bring to a podcast. But here's the thing. Our lives are not free of messes. Our lives do not have to be perfect. They are what they are. And when we look at situations and circumstances as a setup for our success, as an opportunity to nurture and flourish the seeds that we are desiring to plant in our lives, and we harness those moments to grow and expand, then we do grow and expand. Your best life is here. It's now. It's in this moment, and you're seeking it. And in this moment, it's seeking you. And when you engage your best self in this moment, no matter what it is, what will be reflected back to you and what will expand and what will grow is your best life, your best opportunities. You see, it is the humming match. When you choose best, it isn't that it's perfect. It's simply better than all of the other choices at that moment. You can say, I've spilt something. I've spilled orange juice, and I decided, I think I'm going to let it go. I have some place that really is calling for me. And 5 hours from now, when I get back, the orange juice will still be here. And it'll probably require just as much energy to clean it up then. So you know what? This orange juice has nothing on me. I'm having a great day, and I will come back and I will have a great time cleaning up this orange juice when that becomes the priority. Now, if you know me, and a lot of you, perhaps listening to the podcast, either do know me or soon will know me. I love being in contact, so don't hesitate to reach out. I like order. I love cleanliness. I love minimal stuff. I just love organization. Messes, I love to bring to a state of order. I'm passionate about it. So for me to walk away from spilt orange juice is a big deal, but it is my best self deal. And it allows me to engage what matters the very, very most. So take a look around. If you want to, let's give you a little internal check here right now. Look around your life. Just start thinking about your days, where your energy goes, where you give your attention to, what you have claimed that matters. Does the spilt orange juice matter? Or is it something else that matters? And let go of criticism, let go of judgment. Just check in and say, okay, let's look at yesterday. What's going on? What's being reflected back to me? Did you have a rockin' awesome best life ever day yesterday? Or did you feel like life was attacking you? Like the bottom was falling out, or things were going really, really well, but who knows how long this is going to last? So just notice what you are feeling about your life. Notice what you desire. Think about that. Think about all of the things that you want in your you desire in your life and you wish would happen right here, right now. But maybe they're somewhere out there still. Maybe you don't even know how to get them. In secret, that's okay. So when you think about your best life, you think about what you want, think about what you desire, think about what's happening right now. It doesn't matter how much you love or loathe what you are noticing, becoming aware of. In this very moment, you have the opportunity to either fuel it or transform it. If it is already resonating as your best life and your best self and reflecting your best back to you, fantastic! Let's turn it up together. If it is reflecting back to you what feels like your worst, if you feel like, oh my goodness, I am at the bottom of the barrel, I am bouncing off the lowest point in my life, that's something we can now change. It's simply reflecting back to you what you have been reflecting out. And I say that from a place of compassion, a place of absolute love and appreciation for you. I remember the moment in my life where I looked around and quite honestly, my life was stinky. It just was miserable and painful and difficult, and it was just awful. And I couldn't find one thing at that moment that I liked. It was actually a reflection of my worst self, my worst family, my worst, parents, my worst upbringing, my worst friends, my worst everything. I felt like the biggest victim. I felt like life was after me and was going to attack me, hurt me. And then I learned that it was just showing me what I've been believing to be true about myself. It never meant that it was actually true. It just simply meant that I was engaging something that was false, and that what I was being reflected was what matched it. And I had a dear friend in my life that said, you know what, you can grow through pain, or you can actually choose to grow through pleasure and joy and kindness. You get to choose. And I argued with her. I said, I am not choosing this. You're suggesting that I'm choosing this? I am not choosing this. And she said, it's not that you're consciously choosing it. It's just simply where you're giving your energy to. She said, when somebody talks to you in a mean voice, you say, what did I do for them to be mean to me? She said, it may not be you at all. Maybe they're mean to everybody. And what is oozing out from them is simply what's going on within them. So they're not reacting to you. They're sharing themselves and where they're at with you. And you just simply are resonating as a match. So you're available for them to share it with. She just actually gave me a metaphor. She said, it's like they called you on the telephone and you answered. She said, stop answering. And so I did. And at that moment, I said, okay, if I've been choosing to grow through pain, then I choose to grow through pleasure and joy and kindness and abundance and love. And I said, and I'll tell you, I'm choosing it, but I don't know how it's going to happen. And I can't even imagine it. I just know I'm choosing it. And she said, you don't have to know how. All you have to know is that you've chosen it. And then in every moment, whatever's coming up, say, what is aligned with kindness? What is aligned with love for myself and through myself to others? She said, you can't give what you do not have. So first give it to yourself. Fill yourself up with it, never restricting it from others, but allow it to flow to you, through you, and release it also in abundance and share it. So here I am today. I've transformed my life, and I can tell you that I grow through kind, beautiful experiences. And sometimes those kind, beautiful experiences are spilled orange juice. So you don't have to have a perfect day. And sometimes you can have really uncomfortable days. I've had beautiful opportunities that have come my way that quite honestly scare the dickens out of me because I've never experienced them before. So you may have that as well. You may have a want and a desire, like maybe you want to stand on a stage and sing a song that just makes your heart flutter and expand and dance. But when you think about standing in front of thousands of people and singing this song, maybe you just feel like your stomach turns upside down and you feel panicky and nervous. Well, the good thing is the only reason why you're experiencing that is because you haven't done it yet, or you haven't done it a lot yet. And the more you take action in a consistent, constant, beautiful place and area and direction of focus, the more the path eases. You see, the path isn't necessarily hard for us. It's simply more accurately coined as scary. So instead of saying, gosh, this is really hard, maybe the truth is it's just really scary. Really scary. So now that you've taken a look around and you've seen what is, I want to empower you to say, okay, what is it that I want to expand? What is it that I want to change? You don't have to know how, but just simply ask, what is it that I want to expand, grow, make bigger, turn up the volume on? And what is it that I want to let go of and transform? What would I like to sit in its seat? So let's start working an action formula because I want to give you some rubber to the road, things that you can apply and implement and start to do on a daily basis. And again, you don't have to be perfect with it, so you can mess it up as much as you'd like, but always coming back to that consistent, intentional direction of your attention, energy, and focus. It's so important. So number one, take a look around, snapshot your life, see what you see. Decide, what is it, this is number two, what is it that I want to get bigger? I want it to grow. I want it to expand. I want to turn the volume up. What do I want to let go? What do I want to transform? What do I want to release? Okay, no more, no way, no how. What am I done with? What is painful, miserable, and not a match to who I truly am? Now, you may not know how to change it or how to do this next step. Doesn't matter. Just identify it. That's number two. Number three, what do you want in its place? Okay? So what do you want? If you're going to let go of the pain, what is the kindness or the joy or the pleasure that you want to put in the pain seat? So imagine it's like a movie theater and pain is sitting in the seat. And you're saying, pain, you're no longer welcome here. Out. You're not a match to my best self and you're not resonating with my best life. Out. The key thing is that the universe abhors a vacuum. Spaces that are empty seek to be filled. So what I want to invite you to do is to fill the seat, and I want you to be intentional. Keep it very simple. Just decide. You don't have to know how or when or all the details. Just decide, what do I want in that seat? Okay? So if you're, kicking spilt orange juice out and saying, no more, what is it that I want? Well, maybe what you want is the time to breathe and to be present and to focus on actually pouring the orange juice in the glass. And then you want to be able to sit and drink the orange juice and be mindful and present while you put it down. And all of those things mean that it's very unlikely that you're going to spill the orange juice because you're right here, right now, and you're present with the orange juice. Where before, when it spilled, you were all over the place, running chaotically. Orange juice was like in your way, and you knocked it over. So maybe it's that really in its seat, you want to slow down. Be able to smell what the orange juice smells like, taste what it tastes like, and enjoy looking at it in the glass as you drink it. Maybe that's what you want in the seat. Now, you don't have to know how it's going to happen. All I want to do is empower you to choose it. And when you choose it, I want to invite you to handwrite all of these things down. Writing causes thinking. It causes the engagement of your awareness. Now, creation is not necessary. Everything is created. That's how the universe works. Energy is energy is energy, and it's omnipresent. So whether something's in your life right now or not, it's available to you. Your job is not to create it. Your job is to align with it. In this room, right here, right now, we've got radio waves. And most places, I'm not going to say all because I don't know that for a fact, but most places in the world have radio frequencies going around. But if you're not listening to what is being broadcast on that radio frequency, it's because you don't have the antenna to tune in, you haven't dialed into that frequency, or you've got the volume turned way down low. So when it comes to creating what you want, the more accurate way to relate with it is, okay, what I want is already there. It's available to me. I just need to align with it. I need to engage it, and I need to turn it up. And the first step of that is to decide what it is that you want and to notice how it's going to feel and how it feels for you in having it, because the moment you connect with it, you start to feel it. That's an indication that you have dialed like a radio. You've tuned in, boom. Now you're resonating. You're communicating with that which you want, and it's communicating with you. And from that moment, the next step is action. Remember, if you're going to listen to a particular radio station, you got to tune into it. And sometimes with the radio dials, I don't know if you guys have these or you remember these, but you got to kind of turn it ever so slightly and dial in until it becomes super clear. So the frequency was always there. What was being broadcast was always being broadcast. We just have to dial into it until, boom, it's super clear. So you're more so aligning with what you desire, and you can let yourself off the hook for having to create it. It's already there. Dial in. So writing it down focuses your awareness. It allows you to take all of the different things that you could focus on and bring your attention like a laser beam into that which you desire. Then what happens is you're like a tuning fork now. And everything that's a match to it is going to start to hum and vibrate. Now, the cool thing is that as you navigate your path, all you have to know is your next step. That's it. You don't have to have the entire thing mapped out. All you have to do is know your outcome, your desire, and pay attention to the next best self step. Sometimes that's leaving the orange juice for 5 hours and coming back and cleaning it up later. Maybe that is, the next best step is to pause, take a breath, grab the glass, refill it with orange juice, and sit and smell the orange juice and enjoy it. And look at your schedule and say, you know what? I'm creating time for me to enjoy orange juice in my life. That matters to me. Whatever it is, when you know the outcome, you know and you are real with what is your best life and what is no longer a match to it. And you identify it. And you say, okay, these things that are no longer a match to what I desire, I'm letting them go. But in that moment, I created a vacuum. And if I don't put something else in the seat, then what I don't want, well, that was the most recent visitor. That was the most recent occupant of the seat. So it's likely to move right back in. So your job, your opportunity is to put something that you do desire in the seat and say, this is what I choose. I don't know when it's going to happen. I don't know how it's going to happen. I don't have to know. I simply have to know what I want, and I choose to have it, and I choose to be aware and recognize it right here, right now.